everybody, it's Starla with expressionsvinyl.com, and today we're going to be making a fun project using our Opal and our thin striped patterned adhesive vinyl. So you're going to need a few things. You're going to need your application tool, a weeding hook, a boxing knife, and then whatever surface you're going to be putting your project onto. So to get started, let's go over to our Silhouette Design Studio and check out what they've got in the design store to choose from. Okay, so now that we're in Silhouette's design store, there's thousands of images to choose from, but today we're just going to make a fun obsessive craft disorder sign. They have a few cute ones to choose from. So we've already purchased this cut file, and when you do that, it'll automatically download into your library, so you don't have to worry about importing it. To do that, you can either go into your recent downloads, or you can just go to your entire library and just search for that specific file. And there it is. So to insert this into your Silhouette Studio, just double click and it will automatically drop it into your library. There we go. So to start off with any project, you're going to want to make sure that you measure your surface you're going to be cutting on. I've already cut my stripes for this project, and it's approximately 6 by 10 inches. So you'll go ahead and do that separately, but you'll want to size your design according to that. So we're going to size it at about 6 inches. And to do that, you can either size it in and out, or you can set the parameters up at the top with your width and your height. All right. Now Silhouette has a fun feature that you can create an offset, so we're going to incorporate that into our design to add a little definition to our project. And to do that, you'll just go up to the top toolbar, and under the offset selected shape option, it's just this little star, just select offset. That's all you have to do. And then just hit apply. All right, and from this point, we're just going to pull out the middle because we just want a simple scallop shape into our design. And that's all you have to do. We're ready to cut. So to do that, we're first going to start with our Opal 651 black, and we're just going to load it into our machine. And today we're working with our Silhouette Cameo 3, and we're not going to be using a matte. So make sure that your Silhouette Studio program reflects that same thing. To do that, just go to your matte option and just select none, and it will take it off. And make sure that you have your cut border selected so you know where to stay within. All right, so let's load it into the machine. To start off, you're just going to line it up against these blue lines, right up against your rollers, and make sure that your rollers, both sides, are going to be holding onto your vinyl. I like to have mine at the 9-inch mark, but that's just preference. It's not a must-do. And then just load it. Okay. So to get this started in cutting, you're just going to go to your send panel, and you're going to select the correct cut settings for this particular vinyl that we're working with, which is the Opal 631 or the 51. We already have them set into our program. But for more cut settings, you can refer to our website. Under the machine settings, you can select your machine and go from there. For Opal, you want to set your blade on a 2 with your force at about a 5 or a 6 and your speed varying from like 3 to 5 depending upon your design. And then all you have to do is hit send and you're ready to go. Okay, so now that our scallop circle is complete, all you have to do is select unload on your machine. And we are ready to weed out. So we're just going to cut out our shape. And I like to start from the corner and then just pull back. Super simple. All right, so now that we've got our 651 cut out, we still need to go and cut out our next shape, which is on our blue Opal. So to do that, you will have to adjust some settings just a little bit because the vinyl is a little bit thicker and they vary some. So let's go back to the studio and we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so you can stay in your cut panel and just move out your older image and move in your new image. But you will have to change the settings. So for Opal, it changes a little bit. So you're still on a blade of 2, but you want to adjust your force just a little bit deeper. So we're going to do it to about a 7. And because there are small details to this, I am going to move it down to a 1. All right, and then you're just going to proceed just like you did with the last one and load it into your machine. And then once it's loaded, just hit send and you're ready to go. All right, so now that our opal is done cutting, we're just going to unload it. But then we also need to cut out our thin striped pattern vinyl. So we're gonna load that in, and we will need to adjust the settings just a little bit because it is kind of like the 651. It's a little bit thinner, so let's go and adjust that as well. So this rectangle was 6 by 10 inches, so you're just going to do the same as you did before with your circle. You're just going to go up to the top and set 6 by 10. And then just line it up and you're ready to cut. Since this is similar to 651, we are going to go back down on our force. But because it's just a simple rectangle, we can up the speed just a little bit and then hit send. Okay, so now that our thin stripes are done cutting, we're just going to unload that as well. And now's the fun part. We just need to weed out the rest of our images. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so when you're weeding out images that have fonts, they're gonna have centers and stuff, you don't have to, but I like to go through and take out all the middles first. So then I can just weed out one big pull out of the rest of the image. And then we are going to square out our rectangle shape so we can fit it exactly onto our board. So now that we have all of our images cut out and weeded out, all we need to do next is apply it to our surface. So in order to do that, you want to use transfer tape. And because we're layering, we're going to use clear. But for simple shapes like squares, rectangles, just simple shapes, you don't necessarily need to use transfer tape. If you want to, go ahead, do it. So to do that, I'm not going to use the transfer tape, but I am going to just pull back your carry sheet just a little bit and just line it up as best you can. And then taking your application tool, you're just going to smooth it down. So super simple. All right, and so now that we have images that have smaller shapes and separate, you wouldn't want to manually put these on. So this is when transfer tape is a must. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did with the rectangle, and I'm just going to put this one on manually. This will also help you save on transfer tape. Okay, and then smooth it out again. Okay, so now that it's time to add our opal, and because it's got those small details, we're gonna use our transfer tape. And to figure out how much you need, I just like to set the image on top, and these grids come in handy for that. And then you're just going to take your knife and square it out. And then the easiest way to apply this is to do the same technique, just fold this back and then make sure it is lined up as best you can. Super simple. All right, and then all you have to do is take off your paper backer. And if it gets a little bit stuck, doesn't want to lift, just give it a little bit of pressure on the back to help it really stick onto that tape. Okay. All right, and since this is clear, it's going to be making lining this up super easy. All right, and then just burnish it down again. And then the transfer tape is gentle enough that it won't lift your other vinyl, but strong enough to apply it to the layers. And you're just gonna roll it back. Okay, so there we go. Super simple, easy beginner design that you can have in your craft room for some fun notes. You don't have to just be a Silhouette user to do this. You can make similar designs in the Cricut as well and change up your patterns a little bit. They can go vertically or horizontally. Change it up, do you. So if you like these projects, be sure to check out all the fun patterns that we offer as well as all the other varieties of vinyls. And thanks for watching, bye.